Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. So Trump gave a speech. Did you see the speech he gave?
No, you told me about it.
He says he's disappointed that the Israel lobby isn't as powerful today. Well, I couldn't find the... again, this is all new to me, how to use this StreamYard, and I wanted to get the video of him saying Israel needs to be expanded, which he said that. But here, let's just go to the video. Here's what he said. Let me find the video. Here it is.
Territory, who would believe this, as Hamas wages a savage war in the south, Hezbollah menaces the north, and the Houthi terrorists attack at sea. In Europe, the streets of Paris, London, and Brussels are overrun by mobs of Hamas supporters changing their jihad slogans in the heart of the Western capital. And in America, the evil anti-Semitism is rampaging all throughout our cities, the Democrat Party, our left-wing media institutions, a certain candidate for the President of the United States, which is hard to believe, in our colleges and universities, they're going loco. They're going loco. Something's wrong with them. What is this? I never thought this could happen. You know, just to get off for a second, years ago, my father was a big supporter of Jewish people and Israel. He's not Jewish. He wasn't Jewish, but he was a great friend of a lot of Jewish people. And if you say, let's say 15 years ago, maybe not even that long, anything bad about Israel or Jewish people, you were finished as a politician, right? You were finished. You wouldn't do that, Congressman. You wouldn't do it anyway, but nobody would do it. The most powerful lobby in this country, by far, was Israel and Jewish people. Today, it's almost like, what happened? What happened? What happened to Schumer? What happened to all these people? Schumer's like a
So this is like an attack on the Democrats, right? That's what this is about.
So I think that's what he's trying to do, but it's the most insane, one of the most insane. He's trying to pretend that Israel doesn't have the power it had 15 years ago in this country, and that 15 years ago, if you spoke out against Israel, your career would be over. So he's saying two horrible things at once. Once, he's trying to make you don't believe your own eyes and ears and what's happening right now. There's no arms embargo. There's actually a genocide being committed in Palestine, in Gaza, and that's only the American people are against it. That's not going to stop. Why? Yeah. Because AIPAC has a stranglehold on our government. That's why. So
he's not going to say that there. I mean, look at the audience. Right. He ain't going to say that there. No one can say it.
So he's trying to say that that they don't have that control that they used to. That's a bullshit. But what he's also saying, and I'll play the rest of it, but what he's also saying is that it was better when a foreign government had even greater control over our government. Like, that's a good thing. That's what he's saying.
It's our best friend, Jimmy.
Yeah. So he's saying two crazy things at once.
He's talking to a bunch of Zionists in a room full of Zionists. Now, I don't think I wouldn't say what he's saying, but so you can see the politics of it very easily. When he says, like, you'd be finished, he's talking about the Democrats or Kamala, like, mildly acting like, oh, we're going to have them do a ceasefire, right? Remember she said something like that? Like, oh, really, are you? So that's the jump on her because they don't like her.
Right.
And then they didn't like Biden. And as goes Michael Rappaport, so goes the nation.
Yes.
Michael Rappaport's like, I'll vote for Trump. I told you October 7th was the end of woke. So, but I would say they don't have as much power. And I'm going to tell you why, even though I would say it's too much, clearly, because of the Epstein blackmail, obviously. But I know about Israel now. I would have never known about this 20 years ago. I wouldn't have listened.
I know about it now because of social media and because of YouTube and Rumble and because of October 7th, and that they're actually, instead of just being occupiers and every once in a while mowing the lawn, which is when they would go in and murder people, they're doing it on a mass scale now, right? Like unlike anything we've seen before. Mm-hmm. So now even someone like me got educated, and now I know about how the difference between Zionism and Judaism, and the Zionists want to conflate Judaism with Zionism.
As do anti-Semites.
That's
anti-Semites do, yeah.
That's the whole game, right? As do anti-Semites, right?
They got the same agenda as a Nazi and a
So I don't,
Yeah.
So that's the ironic part. So I don't conflate Judaism and Zionism, and I can detest Zionism and not have any ill feelings for Judaism or Jews in general, right?
Yeah,
it's
right.
Zionism, right? So all right, so let me hear the rest of what he says.
Palestinian, right? It's shocking because I grew up where Israel was just supported. My father was a builder in Brooklyn, and a lot of Jewish people. That's all he knew. That's all I knew, essentially. But we knew Jewish people, and they were great people. And we'd go to many events. I'd go with him, and it was great. The card calling, we would the card callers. We had a man, Harry Waxman. He was a brilliant card caller.
Okay, so that's the it's weird that there's that audio recording of him saying that he figured out Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't want a deal, that he thought it was going to be the Palestinians who were the crazy ones, and it turns out it was Benjamin Netanyahu who didn't want a deal. Right. And it seems like that's the kind of thing in my head, knowing what I know about Trump, that's the thing that bothers him. It's like, well, come on, we got to have a deal. I want to get credit for having a deal. Right. And so
how do you do that? You got to isolate it's Bibi's fault, which I said a long time ago. They're going to, at the end of the day, I mean, assuming the world's not on fire, they're going to go, that Bibi really sucked. And they're going to start putting it on. And we watch the Democrats doing it where like they started reporting that AIPAC has too much influence on MSNBC. Remember?
Yes, Ari Velshi was allowed.
And I was like, oh, so now Netanyahu's making it hard for Biden and they're getting mad because it's screwing up the election for that. Look, there is no one who is ever getting elected to this largely symbolic office of president who isn't going to suck up to Israel and AIPAC. Do people expect that? That is never going to happen. So what happens, and also a bunch of Zionists know this. I know for a fact because they go, yeah, he says he's going to help Israel, but how? Like, there's a whole like Game of Thrones.
But there's
intrigue.
There's also an audio record or video even of him saying, "F Benjamin, F fuck Bibi," right?
Yeah,
that Trump said that. So now, what your theory is? They're all gonna make it look like it. Well, I mean, it is Bibi and the Likud. And,
they don't like him in Israel. Also, he's a piece of shit. He was about to go down.
Yes,
remember before this unexpected attack.
Yes, this unexpected attack that they knew exactly about over a year.
Tragic. It was tragic, and I always say that. But in a way, it was good for Bibi Netanyahu, wasn't it? Because he clings on to power and whatever. So yeah.
Do you think
stop killing now? They're going to have to get Netanyahu and Chabad out of there. So,
do you think so this didn't happen when Trump was president? This genocide. Do you think it's because Trump would have been forced a deal? Like he's one of these deal guys, but or is that me just being crazy? Is that me just being naive? And
okay, well, if Biden, because you can't just do that. America is paying, and even though they have too much power, they don't have all the power, right? Because you're seeing people getting sick of this. So it's a delicate thing that they have to do, right? And Biden, who is a doddering old senile imbecile that anyone could see if they're not stupid. If I'm somebody like Netanyahu, a master criminal, that's the perfect time to start doing what I want, especially if I'm going to jail. What's this old idiot going to do? Nothing. That's what. So that, Trump there and Biden there is two different things on everything. Not that Trump necessarily is going to make a good decision, but Trump's present and you have to consider what he might do or say. Whereas with Biden, it's just, and Kamala's will be a puppet for whoever.
Okay.
I don't think of it in terms of countries no more. There's no such thing as that. It's just like that news. There's just like that thing. There's coalitions and alliances between the power elite that cut across all the countries. And whatever the real borders are, I don't know what they are. Somebody who gets paid more than me knows the actual borders. And I know the dumb ones we all see on the globe, which are like for chumps.
I just... So I have this one theory, which I don't know how much I subscribe to it anymore, but was that Trump was being over the top in his rhetoric to create space so he could come in and enforce a deal. And he also wanted the campaign donations from Adelson, right? And so it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember, I remember them always talking about how, only Nixon could go to China, right? Like,
right.
And because he was such a, he spent his whole life red baiting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gave him the space to be able to do that, right? And so I was thinking, well, maybe that's the thing with the Trump, that he's going so over the top, but he's want to come in and force a deal. And I don't,
who's the most likely, and by the way, I want to just point out how profoundly wrong and evil it is that we all got to look at these people that are supposedly the leaders and try to guess their strategy. And why is it insane to say what you mean and mean what you say? That's like a form of sorcery. If you're honest, it's one of the craziest things you can do. So this is a repulsive system we live in. It's not good. It's not like a leader ain't going to save it. What you're saying probably is right, but it could also not be right. There's nobody, RFK, ain't going to do nothing if he were in. Tulsi wouldn't do nothing. Kamala's going to do whatever the industrial complex and WEF want. There's nobody that's going to say a thing that's the right thing about this who will be elected to a leadership position. Let's say best case scenario that Trump is somehow this secret hero, that I will be delighted if that's the case. Okay. There will not be you won't even have honest leaders until if he's on some kamikaze secret, all that QAnon nonsense. Okay, maybe the next guy could speak honestly after, but dude, this is not this whole empire is bad. It's a bad empire. And this is like, you're just looking at the evil of running it. You got to suck up the one guy over here and then do a different thing. And so the soaring rhetoric, like you're saying, then it makes it hard to go in the media and say, but he's not doing the thing because he's over the top saying how great Israel is. Candace Owens, by the way, by contrast, talking about the Frankists, she's going to get anti-Semitic tags put on her, and she's not even talking about Jews. Why? Because she doesn't know how to really make it clear to some very neurotic people, I'm not talking about you, honey. It's okay. I know you're not the bad one. Which you have to do because people have been conditioned to think that they're going to be killed.
Well, here's the irony of all this, I guess. So I don't know, or the twist. I was talking with Russell Dobular today in Keaton, and they were saying, so they're two Jews, and they were saying that Israel is going to collapse economically, that they already are, that their ports are empty, and that there's a brain drain happening where all the people are already leaving.
Yeah, they're not going to stay. They were already going to leave before because they couldn't believe what he was doing with the court.
And so they are saying that it's going to collapse and that Zionism is a failed project. And I'm like, boy, that seems to me that would be great because me, I'm not a supporter of Israel, and all the Jews, most of the Jews I know, don't feel like they need to have a state, an ethno state, so they can feel safe. They're
not safe in it. What do you mean? What's this safety? What are they safe? All I see is problems.
That's another point. Like now it's going to be the most unsafe place for them to be because of what's happened, right? And so I would always say all the Jews I know live in Florida and New York and everywhere in Hollywood. They all feel very safe. So this idea that you need to have that, and now what it's actually doing is creating a lack of safety for Jewish people around the world, Zionism.
And they're not going to stand. They're not going to stand for that. What you think? I know Jews my whole life very intimately, and they don't even. My ex-girlfriend, I used to joke, it was like dating Greta Thunberg if she was just mad about the temperature of the room she's in currently.
Yes.
They're not going to stand for that. And so all these old narratives are collapsing, man. And the thing is, I don't just focus on Israel. I'm like, yo, look at America too, because we're the ones that allowed this to happen. And they're just doing the stuff we did to get our great name. There's big paintings of us chasing all the original people the hell off the land with Lady Liberty. Okay, it's actually Zionism. We were using Zionism ourselves. I'm saying I didn't do nothing, but the founders. It's a great book because it's really good war propaganda, the entire Hebrew scriptures, and everybody around the world. King Charles he's related to King David and Muhammad somehow. In their lineage, that's what they claim. He goes all the way back to Muhammad. I don't think he really does, but that's like one of their PR, make the empire together.
Well, I mean, so the good news is it sounds like the Zionist project is failing, and that they're not.
The Soviets collapsed. The Soviet Union collapsed under its own weight.
But it also seems like they have, like, Gaza is unlivable. They just flatten the whole place, and it's going to take, it would take you 20, 30 years to rebuild Gaza.
And then you're still going to have problems because you're not going to end Hamas. The idea that they're going to end Hamas, and I don't believe they want to. How do you maintain the whole place is maintained by the fear of, oh, we're going to be killed unless this is a thing. So if you're going to be killed anyway, what do you give a shit? You're like, well, fuck this whole thing then if I'm not safe either way.
And so
that's what's happening.
And so, yes. And so, but they also, they were saying today in the Due Dissonance that what's going to probably happen is those Palestinians are going to be, America is going to bribe other countries like, Egypt, Iran, Jordan to take them, and they're going to bribe, and they're going to get them out of there. And I'm like, wow, whew. But anyway,
a Jew who lives in Iran, Jews that live in Iran are safer and happier than Jews who live in Israel. That's a fact. Well, I didn't even know until Ari Shafir told me.
I know that there's a lot of Jews in Iran, and when I found that out, I was shocked. And they have they have temples, right? That's their place of worship. They call them temples, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Persia is the cradle of religion. I don't know if you know that, it has that title because so many religions come out of Persia. Most of them, actually. Almost really, yeah, most of them.
Okay. So anyway, good news, bad news, I guess. Good news, bad news.
I don't expect any. If these people tell the truth about anything, like it was shocking when Trump said we got the oil in Syria, we're taking the oil. It's shocking. It's not like the normal thing for them to be upfront honest. And by the way, if you're going to make a deal with this somehow, what do you think? You're going to openly condemn Zionism? No. No one can do that and be elected to shit. Well, I don't know what people want. Like, well, I mean, I guess you want the violence to stop. I agree with that. But your leaders aren't able to do that. Look at the position that we're in. Everything runs on mail and evil and blood.
I was at a protest yesterday on Sunday here in Chicago for Palestine. And I was talking to some people who, I said, well, they were there at the protest too in support of Palestinians and Palestine. And I said, who are you going to vote for? And they say Jill Stein. I go, well, what do you say to people who say, yeah, it's a vote for Trump? I go, that's a vote for Trump. And like half of them would go, yeah, I'll probably vote for Kamala. I swear to God, they caved like that.
Yeah, well, that's years of Russell called it at the live show, the years of conditioning to like accept that puppet and to even like think. I mean, like, what to even think that that's an alternative, somebody that like who clearly is a puppet of a bunch of, but they think that she has good people around her. They thought Biden had good people around him. That's what they think. Oh, it's like Jen Psaki, fun margarita type gals. They don't know anything.
Russell was saying he was talking to some Kamala supporters, and they didn't even know about her record as Attorney General in California.
It's called mind control. We're all in.
They didn't even know. They didn't even know that she hid evidence that would exonerate people. That she didn't. They didn't know that prison labor. Didn't know any of it.
Yeah. Why would they? Why would they want to know anything beyond? I know this is who the the herd of cattle I want to be with.
How does she go from the most unpopular vice president in history to now everybody like, yeah, thinks she's great?
It's called mind control over the TV. They do Mockingbird still and all that stuff, and people mock.
And
what we have been before and what we were before.
And just like they said, Hillary Clinton. Remember they said Huffington Post 95% guaranteed she's going to win I think they're doing the same shit with Kamala.
Well, they're lying. Look, all the polls. I don't know why you would trust a single one. I don't know why anyone acts like the polls. Back in 2016, we learned that they lie to you. They're trying to create artificial hype. They're trying to do it with Mpox now.
Oh my God!
like what it's like people buying views to start a YouTube channel. It's the same principle, cuts across everything. So the people that are still chained to the media where it like tells them what they think, I guess are going to be like that. It's not everybody. In fact, I don't think it's really most people. And the only reason I say that is because not enough people are doing well enough economically to make that happen. Russell's pointed this out. You don't have enough middle-class people to shut their mind off and not want to know. Too many people are getting fucked over for you to pull this off. Now the people that are going to blindly go to Kamala, they're shrinking. So the Democrats fuck themselves with that. So they're going to have to steal it, start a war, or kill Trump. I don't see any other option for them because she's not winning and there's no way she's going to win.
I think they're going to steal it.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.